What's up, everyone? This is OK What's Next, and on this episode, the crew is discussing NFTs and video games. We're asking the question that has a major impact on the industry. On top of that, we're speaking with a founder whose team is in the process of building an MMORPG that we believe could be the spark that ignites the NFT gaming industry. Nick, what are we doing now?
I'm going to do it a little different today, Shane.
Okay.
Do it a little different.
Okay.
Cody, what do we got today?
Cody!
All right. We got NFTs and video games.
Cody. Roll the intro.
What's next? What's next? What's next?
Welcome. I'm Shane Salonitri, and this is OK What's Next. To my right, we got the man who is single and ready to mingle, ladies. Nicholas Eccleston. He does have a roommate. Say hello to your dad for me.
Of course.
I'm only messing around. To my left, we got the salsa dancing, mustache wearing, NSFW connoisseur, the man behind the computer, Cody Eccleston. Cody, how are you doing today?
It's another brilliant day, but what?
All right, Cody, we're ready to kick this off. What do we got on this episode?
Pause. Did Cody just say it's a brilliant day?
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's a brilliant day.
I've never heard someone use that terminology. You really tried to
You're gearing us off course.
I'm just saying.
Cody, break down the episode. What are we talking about?
So in today's episode, we are covering NFTs and video games. We've done it before, but we're gonna, go a little different aspect here. But we have an interview with the founders, as you said, with a team that is looking to break the disconnect between NFTs and gamers. So glad to see exactly what they bring in store.
It's going to be interesting. I love talking to founders, and I know you two, being avid gamers, love talking about video games and the connection with Web3 and the NFT industry. But before we get into that, we have a brand new segment where we are breaking down the headlines. What's in the news? I thought our singing voices would be a lot better, honestly.
Me and you harmonized. Cody was over there like...
Did we harmonize?
Yeah, we harmonized. Let's do it minus Cody. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. What's in the news?
Nah, next off.
It's okay.
I had to go a little higher.
All right, anyway. So for this segment of the show, we're going to put 8 minutes on the clock, and we're going to have Cody hit Google, and we're going to break down some of the top headlines from this week in the world of NFTs and Web3. All right, Cody, hit Google. We're off and running. All right, so what do we got first? What'd you search?
All right, so I basic search, I just typed in NFT, or in that kind of sense. So the first article that I found that looked interesting, Japanese cars in the metaverse, Toyota and Nissan, go
That's pretty
virtual.
interesting. All right, make the screen a little bit bigger for me so I can read it.
It's as big as it goes.
Okay.
Didn't Lamborghini already go into the metaverse?
Did they?
You go into Centraland, there's Lamborghinis everywhere.
Honestly, I don't really know about that, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Metacars, and you walk up to them.
There has been a lot more. Yes, Lamborghini, like the higher end.
Go outside of the Bored Ape Museum or whatever they call it. I don't know the exact term.
Can you drive those around the Centraland though?
No, but there is cars driving.
Well, let's read this. So you were able to make it bigger. Thank you for that. Every day, more brands and companies are betting on the present and future of virtual reality. Blah blah blah. I mean, the thing that I think is really cool. Second line, the world's leading car manufacturers, Toyota and Nissan, plan to offer new virtual experiences, including virtual events and virtual customer support offices for clients.
See, I don't like the title "world leading" just because I'm not a fan of Toyota or Nissan.
Yeah, but they are
This is cool.
Hold on, they are the two most bought and most purchased vehicles.
All right, that's fair.
So
point.
it says they're also going to be offering car exhibitions using virtual reality. They have currently partnered with video game developer VRChat. Okay. The two companies will have different approaches and use cases for the virtual worlds. Okay, so pretty much, I mean, What are the initial reactions from this for you guys?
Well, okay, the fact that they are partnered with VR Chat, I feel like a lot of people want to be because VR Chat, like I said, as a game its own self, was a metaverse that physically
honest.
allows people to do whatever they want, and people want to get involved in that as soon as possible.
I'll be honest. I think VR chat was like the first metaverse. I mean, think about it.
First recognized, I'd say.
Well, I'm just saying. Think about it. Think about VR chat prior to NFTs and any games prior to VR chat. I mean, you look at what a metaverse, what you believe it should be, at least, and you think like Decentraland, you think Sandbox, and all those. VR chat has been doing that for years.
Yeah, dominated by kids, and it's not. It's technically it's not Web3. I mean, we could. I don't want to get into that because our timer is going. We're down to 5 minutes 20 seconds.
So we'll just jump into the next article, though.
Yeah, let's. I mean that. It's a good start, though, because I do... Sorry, before we go into this, I just love seeing any big brand getting more into the Web3 world. Because that just shows, okay, we know it's here to stay, but it shows...
More people hopping on that bandwagon.
Hey, like, this is here. Toyota believes in it. Like, it's here. All right, Cody, read us the next headline.
All right, this next headline, the first crypto dating show raised $6 million to build a Netflix of Web3 with help from Paris Hilton. It's a name you haven't heard in a while.
I'm looking into this.
Wow. Ooh, wow.
Ooh, thank you.
I got you, Nick. Don't worry. I got you, boy.
Thank you.
All right, so this is cool. Go back to the headline. Let me take this in. All right, so raise $6 million. What makes them the Netflix of Web3? Let's scroll down and let's look at this a little bit. I mean, anytime you have a massive round of funding like that, it's always going to make headlines. Cody, break this down for a
So
second.
what they're pretty much saying, right? So it's Mad Realities is the company, right?
Okay.
And what they're saying is they're the Web3 version of what Netflix pretty much is. Which, if you think of what Netflix is, it's a streaming service that allows you to watch movies, TV shows, stuff like that. So if they're trying to be the Web3 version of this, it sounds like they're either opening up a marketplace or doing something in the sense that brings you the content to you.
It
Could be a production studio.
It could be. And let's just break this down for the viewers right now. We have not even seen these headlines before we started this. The whole point is we want true reactions based off the headline alone. And yeah, we look at like some of the key points. We skim the article a little bit as you see us doing right now, but so anything we say, we could be a little bit wrong because we haven't done the proper research. We're purely reacting off headlines.
So it's saying the seed round was led by Paradigm. So the Paradigm's funding it, and then it's also founded by the Coinbase co-founder.
Okay.
Fred.
So they do have
Harrison.
big names attached to it.
Yeah.
They have big names attached to it. I mean, what if it's something where we know there's a ton of NFT projects that they're using the NFT to fund a movie, fund a series? What if this is kind of like a database where it links with your wallet, where it shows basically if you have that wallet, this is the platform where if you have that NFT, you can only watch that series through this platform.
That would be sick, but they would definitely be cornering the market on that too. That would be something.
They would need a lot of partners, so I don't see why it would be a cool place to have everything like all in one place. But the thing that why are they're marketing it in the headline is the
dating
NFT,
show, though.
the Netflix of Web3.
Yeah,
So
but
it
it's
is
all
the
about-
media. So right here, the long term of what they want to be. They wanted this to be a decentralized media platform where, at its core, we focus on shared experiences and co-creation and ownership at the community layer. So you can imagine like a crypto Netflix, but every show has its own community behind it, with the relationship much more double-sided between the creator and the audience. So like you were saying, it is going to be for those NFT projects that are going to have some kind of media
that's
aspect
kinda
to it, and they're going to be the ones
What is the dating show? What did they say? It's called Proof of Love. Is that correct?
I believe so. Let's find out.
I know we are windowing down here, though.
What'd you say?
We're dwindling down here.
Yeah, what do we got? A minute
Yep.
30. I do
Alright.
want to keep diving into this, but let's go to the next.
Alright.
Do we have one more?
Yep, we got one more. So this last one, obviously, it's big news. NFT Bored Ape Marketplace gets hacked once again. People lose millions in ape pictures, and actually, it wasn't their marketplace entirely that got hacked. It was their Discord.
Okay, so we've talked about that on the show, and like, it is a shame that it happened.
But it was their, so it's their Instagram and Discord which was hacked, and what ended up happening and people fell for it was the fact that they people that hacked them offered out, hey, here's a new mint of something else and a land sale, like offering land for Bored Apes and stuff like that. So something new, and everyone that owned it was like, oh, that's cool, let me buy into it. Second you try to, your wallet gets hacked, and then they steal your Bored Ape. We've heard this all before. Like Discord, while it's a very good site to use for NFTs, it is hackable, and the fraud and the bots are there. You just have to be very careful.
Yeah, it's a shame.
One quick thing for the viewers at home and the audio listeners. Real quick tip: if you are on Discord and you get DM'd and you think it's a bot, or you see someone messaging, you think it's a bot, Discord has a little bot tag. It's a little blue tag next to the name that says
3,
bot.
2,
Just so you know.
1.
That could be faked. All right.
What a stereotypical iPhone timer ringer.
I mean,
All right.
it's iPhone users.
Hey, don't be talking about the iPhone users out here.
Android phones. It's the way to go.
Anyway, guys, way to break down the headphones. What am I? I'm looking at you with the headphones on. Way to break down the headlines. I'm gonna look into these more today. Maybe we rehash on the next episode. All the listeners out there, all the viewers, take a look at these articles. We'll link them down below. We'll link them below in the description. But what was the most interesting article for you guys?
In all honesty,
Paris Hilton one, right?
No, I would say the Paris Hilton one because it's something new and it's being sponsored by someone that we've heard their name of. And I think they're famous, so it's like that has a lot of backing, right? Bored Ape one, we've heard it before. It happens all the time. It just it's a bigger one.
It happens like an A-list project. So.
I kind of like the cars one, the Toyota, and
I forgot about the cars one. That is cool.
only because I'm curious where they're gonna go with that.
It did say it was interesting because they're going to be doing basically like car expos in VR.
But
would be cool.
they could say one thing and then come time they're like,
Yeah.
this isn't good enough. We need more, and where they're gonna take.
In all honesty, it is good to see more brands hop into like the space, but it's like when they hop into space, you want to see something revolutionary and something different.
Yep.
And I feel like they're just, we're coming into the space, but we're doing something that's already been done. So, well, like I said, we'll wait and see. But like I said, it's not my forte.
All right, so we went a couple minutes over, but that was the very first What's in the News.
To the news.
Extra, yeah.
I like that impersonation, Cody.
Oh, it's so fun to
Shane.
do.
Shane.
You
It
do
is
look good.
mad.
Literally does the exact same voice for every single character. It's Skeletor.
Well, it's like Skeletor's kind of
Okay.
voice going for it.
Extra.
Extra, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
get
so bad at
what is it, Jay Jameson?
I'm so bad at
It's hard. I suck at impressions myself, but you just gotta try. Just throw it out there, attempt. It's the way to do it.
All right, so let's dive into it. Today, the focus of our episode, we talked about it before. We're going to talk about it a little more in depth this time. NFTs and video games. So, as we know, I'm outside of the gaming space. But don't be confused. Catch me on Miss Pac-Man. It is a wrap. But I'm outside of the conventional gaming space. So, speaking to two gamers, I want to know, what are your thoughts on NFTs and video games? Nick, kick us off.
All right, so we talked about this before. We know that a lot of a lot of companies that try and get into NFTs that are known video game studios don't do it right. But I kind of want to sway our conversation to the NFT games that are already released. What is stopping those from becoming these big name gaming studios, and what have they done wrong, and like what could they have done better to pretty much like bring their game to the forefront, kind of like a Call of Duty or a Fortnite or like games like that. Like we see CS:GO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. That's literally an NFT game. I mean, it was a game prior to NFTs, but they ended up making all their skins for the guns and like different knives and stuff like that. They're all NFTs now.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to build on that, Cody. You answer the question now. What are your thoughts, NFTs in video games?
So
Keep this broad. We're gonna dive into.
I'll keep it broad, and I'll follow it up with a question of my own. The thing that I look at is it's all these companies that you see are making these NFT games. They're new, right? They're going to be these indie title companies that maybe don't have the personnel, so it's going to be a group of 6 people trying to make a game, which making a game is very difficult, right? So to an average gamer, like we grew up with the old games where it's like, it's pixelated, it's 16-bit. Hell, Mario, you look at like these old games, they were fun for the time, but now, as the years progressed, we are demanding more and more, right? So these new games that are coming out may not be up to snuff of what we want, and we just don't find them fun. And that's also the reason why a lot of people are just like, I'm not into the NFT games, because it's not where it needs to be just yet. And
Sorry to cut you off, but I kind of want to expand on that one point because you made a good point. The fact that we're as gamers, we're so accustomed to billion-dollar companies that do this as their business, releasing games. Like, look at Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty, I mean, the amount of coding that has to go into that game, and it's just Call of Duty is the example, but like all the different maps, you have 4 different games being pushed into one game, pretty much, because that's kind of where they swayed it. With Warzone, they swayed all of the new releases that came out, put it all into one game, and like different stuff like that. And we're expecting a game like that where it's interesting, it's fun, like I'm a big FPS guy, so like, the big names, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Valorant, what you name it, I play it. But that's what we're expecting. And these newer gaming studios, I should say, don't produce that.
Yeah,
they don't have the experience.
And this is where my other point was coming in. You could consider them indie developers, right? But you got to look at this. You look at some indie games that are very, very popular. Among Us was an indie game that wasn't very popular for a few years until some streamers picked it up, and it became very popular, and now people are still playing it. So even if the game may not be like a billion-dollar company, indie games could still be popular, but what made it fun? These are the questions now, is why are we not excited to play these? So the question I want to answer after this is, what genre of game do you want to see this NFT game have? Right? MMO, RPG, a sport game, you look at like maybe an adventure game, something along those lines. Like, what genre do you want to see an NFT game be that you think would be fun to actually play?
Yeah.
That's the question.
I get that. So basically, if we're thinking of the broad picture here, the issue is you guys haven't found the NFT game that is truly fun yet. Do you think it could be a situation where maybe they are focusing too much on the NFT integration side of it, and they're not focusing on the actual thing that's going to get people to want to play, is that the game is fun? And then this is completely, we're going to do another episode talking about the play-to-earn games. This is, like, we're ignoring, like, for all the viewers out there, we're ignoring the play-to-earn aspect of games completely. And we're strictly looking at them as games that are fun, because the gamers like you guys, the streamers out there, they don't really care about the play-to-earn stuff.
If you don't have fun playing the game, then why play it? I get it. It's play-to-earn. You can win money, but I'm not going to spend, 8, 10, 15 hours grinding a game that's just not fun.
Okay, so I got another question for you guys. Out of all the NFT games that you guys have played so far, let's ignore the play-to-earn aspect like I just mentioned. Are there any that you can see yourself actually playing just for fun? Maybe it's a Friday night, you got stood up by a girl and you just want to play some video games.
So actually, there's one I can say. Hey, you're an asshole. You're an asshole. So there
Those of you guys that don't know, because this never made the cut in the second episode.
All right, no, we're not doing this. Because so say what you're gonna say, and then
I'm just gonna say that for those of you that have been waiting around for Cody's dating update, he got stood up. She didn't answer.
It wasn't stood up. She canceled last minute. But if we're gonna throw it to him, you got stood up on a date recently too. So we're not.
Stood up on a date. I will say it
happens to everyone. Everyone gets stood up.
They did
Everyone
it just
gets
laugh
stood
because
up.
it was just comically where Shane left it. But either way,
It's definitely awkward when you're sitting at the table and you order, and then you have to tell a waiter, be like, "Yeah, she's not coming anymore."
okay, calm down. No, all right. Either way, the whole point I was getting at was we played a lot of games that we saw, right? And you saw we did Gods Unchained, which was the card game. We had a few of the other games. We played that MMO one recently, which, in all honesty, that was a pretty polished game, but it still was. I didn't have fun with it because there's aspects of it I just didn't like. Which, with normal games too, there's games that come out that are really good. I personally don't enjoy that game because it's not in my forte. So it's the same thing. Blankos. That game I actually found pretty fun to even watch and play because it felt like Fall Guys. It was an indie game. It was very basic, but it felt well polished. Yes, there was an aspect to it, but it wasn't the main priority of the game. It was to have fun. It was a little bit shooting. You may not like it, but hey, that was a game I would actually play.
I thought Blankos looked really cool.
Look, I'm going to agree. It is a fun game to play for the first 15 minutes. It gets so repetitive.
But you also have a very high standard for video games. Like I was watching it. I could only play it for a short amount of time because of the whole I have a Mac and it's not on a Mac. But honestly, like another company that's really doing big things, Gala Games, they're really taking a major step in this entire industry.
Yeah.
Which when we talk about the play to earn stuff, we'll definitely go into that a little bit more. But I've been very impressed with some of the stuff that Gala Games has come out with, and it is very clear they're not focusing on the play to earn or the NFT integration. They are really just making games that are fun.
Well, could that be the question then? Instead of releasing the NFT with the hopes of releasing a game, you release the game in hopes of launching an NFT.
At this point, I don't think you can because gamers, we talked about it before, gamers don't like NFTs. And it's very, very weird because this whole entire industry is just is prime for them. Like, once everything comes together, I think they're going to be the biggest ones in this space. It makes so much sense when you're looking at it. And a lot of people, they just don't know what the benefits are and what it can do for them and how it could help and make the whole gaming experience better.
You know what I feel like, though? It's one of those things where I'm pretty sure we've said this. The outlook of when they go into the game development, it's the idea of, hey, I want to build an NFT and there's going to be a game associated with it. And they're more focused on the NFT aspects than the game. Whereas you look at, for instance, the whole Dr. Disrespect thing. He's building a game that has an NFT side to it, but he's more focused on the game. If people's going to want to play it, he's a gamer and he has the backing. But it's the idea of if you build a game first, and this is what I want to build, and yes, it has some aspects to it later that are NFTs, I feel like that's going to be more successful because they're more focused on the gameplay, the users like the game, how is it played, than the whole aspect of the NFT. The companies that you see now that are popping up that are like, hey, we have an NFT project that's going to be a game, they're all about the NFT, and then the game is secondhand to them.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Dr. Disrespect, Hazel, what is it called? Midnight Society?
Midnight Society. Well, the Midnight Society is the name of the studio. To my knowledge, and I say to my knowledge, I don't believe he released the name of the game yet.
Okay.
But there's a lot of different things that he's the way that they took the aspect of their NFT thing is they did a lot of I don't remember the official term for it, but it's kind of like micro gaming where it's there's a bot in their Discord that gives them clues and they have to kind of follow this rabbit hole of different clues between all their socials and different stuff like
Yep.
that. And it was something that it was small, and it was like only a select few could get to that point. And once you got to that point and you figured everything out, it would give you a role in the Discord as pre-variant. And they only a certain amount of people in the pre-variant, were like the first 500, got airdropped his official NFT.
Okay.
So
That's okay. I mean, this is going to be a big thing, and there are other ways to do it. Like we're not saying that it's just release a game and then have NFT integration. It could be the other, like release the NFT and then use that to build the game.
Well,
it really comes down to
I'm
having
saying-
the proper team behind it.
I'm saying the mindset. You have to have the mindset that you're releasing a game. Not that you're releasing an NFT with a game. You're releasing a game with an NFT. That's the mindset you have to have. You have to focus on the game, because a lot of companies, what they're doing is they're focusing on the NFT aspect and making sure that everyone enjoys the artwork and whatever the utility is and all that kind of stuff. And then they tack on a game for you to interact and be able to use your NFT and this, that, and the third. But they're not focusing on the quality of the game. And
Okay.
that's where the disconnect is. Like, look at CSGO. CSGO was a game before it was an NFT. CSGO has been around for so long. You know, all the different Counter-Strikes have been around. They have esport. They're an esport game. They have, you know, all this huge competitive edge.
It's a big, they had
a big thing.
giant community behind it.
Exactly.
It brings us perfectly to the next point. And I like where this conversation is going. I want to do a little exercise with the two of you. If you were to create the perfect NFT game right now, what do you want to see in the ideal game that also incorporates NFTs? And then a follow-up question, what does the NFT actually do? Like, how is it incorporated in the game? So
I've actually been thinking about
I rambled a little bit on that. I'll phrase up a little bit better. What do you want to see in the ideal NFT game?
All right. I mean,
I understand it's something you might.
it's a very hard question though. Like, I agree. There's some stuff.
It could be $1 million. It could be $1 million answer that you're about to give me right now.
No, well, I know. Here's the issue with that, right? You got to think of what, like I said, what genre of game. Me, I personally love fighting games, but I can't see any fighting game being an NFT. There are some that are being made. They look like shit. I'm sorry, they just do, and they won't work. You got to look at what the NFT is going to do for the game. Is it going to do anything? Is it just cosmetic? Is it going to be something like, I've seen projects that it's like you buy the NFT and they're using those funds to build the game, which is perfectly fine, but it depends on a lot of other aspects. I'm thinking, in order for it to work, I know I'm rambling, whatever.
No. I look at Nick and he just gives me a little.
Whatever.
No, it was a good point you brought up. It's a very good
I'm
point.
trying to think, like, in all honesty, I know we are skipping the whole play to earn, but that
skip play to earn, ignore play to earn completely.
ignoring that aspect, an MMORPG is probably your best way to incorporate them in, because you spend a ton of hours playing them. They're going to be fun. They're going to have a lot of aspects to them. But the NFT portion could be any part of that, and it's probably easier to incorporate that in. I mean, sport games, I despise them, but there are ways that you could incorporate them in, and there's some that have. I don't agree with it, but
honestly, by you saying this, and I'll let you go, but I think I figured it out. Sounds crazy, but I think I figured it out. Do you want me to say it, or do you want to say your point?
say it.
All right, so I truly think this is the way that the NFT gaming industry is going to go. We're all focused on NFTs being bought and then being assets in the game. What if the NFT is free? And let's use your fighting game example.
okay.
Let's just call it NFT Fighter 9. Or it wouldn't be 9, it would be NFT Fighter 1, I guess. That's the game. Each person, when you sign up for the game, you have your wallet, you get just a standard character. Just, I don't know, a little Cody. His punching ability is 0, his kicking ability is 0. There has to be a lot of combinations. But what if you can upgrade your character however you want? And there has to be things within the game where you earn like points to build out your character. But essentially, if everyone is doing this, everyone's character will end up being differently. And I know the situation where there could be like a meta that forms where it's like maybe like a 92 punch and like a 94.
I already know where you're
ends up
going with
being-
this, and I
But
could there's problems.
And then you
with
can
this.
sell your character because you have to earn your points or coins to build your character up. But everyone, like, it's not just like a standard character. You have to create your character however you want it to be created.
Yeah, every character you create would end up becoming an NFT. So now,
Exactly.
but the issue, here's
You're making your own NFT.
here's an issue with that. So what you're describing is power leveling, and in a sense, what I mean by this, you've seen this in other MMOs and other games where you could create a character, you make an account. Right, you see this with Genshin Impact. That's a game out now. They make an account, they play through it, they do their roles, get these legendary characters, or they boost up this account to super high, get legendary mounts or whatever for MMOs, and then it's like, hey, I'm gonna sell my account for real life money, which happens now in games.
So this.
But it's against the rules and a ton of other stuff. But it's
okay.
looked down upon. But people have done it because, hey, I'm gonna hack your account or hack your wallet, steal your character, and sell it off.
I'm gonna interject here.
But if you're doing that with as an NFT, when it's sold, the company is making money on it because they get 10% of all secondary sales.
Okay.
And then on top of that, it's the most secure way to do it. You don't have to worry about being hacked or someone stealing your account, creating usernames, doing all that stuff. It's already happening. It could be done securely where the company is profiting and it's actually done clean, crisp, and so that it's fair for all
What's
parties.
stopping somebody from making tons and tons of accounts? You're just gonna have an unlimited amount of NFTs. It's not.
No,
gonna
it
make,
has to be. It's the same exact thing. Maybe you do have to buy that initial NFT. Maybe it isn't free, but maybe it's a really cheap price. Maybe it is like $10, and then you do. It has to be a grind to be able to build them. Maybe you have to do fights and work his way up.
Okay.
Nick,
But that's a
this
pay to
is-
win aspect, though.
All right, hold on.
It's not because the only way you level them up is by playing it.
All right.
I say your point.
First things first, my point on your idea. If you have to do it strictly NFTs, where your character is an NFT, this, that, or third, nobody outside of the NFT space is going to play it. I can tell you that right now. This is my take on it, okay? Take a game like Call of Duty. Take a game like Fortnite. Take a game like CSGO. Any one of those games that already has microtransactions. Take out, you don't necessarily have to take it out, but whatever skin, because these are limited edition skins that they release.
You're talking about do it all, have the NFT be
Well, listen,
cosmetic.
you can only buy, like, for example, Attack on Titan and Call of Duty Warzone did a collaboration, okay? They released the Armored Titan and a special skin for a gun and, like, swords, and they released a couple characters and stuff like that. That you can only buy for that week, and once it's gone, it's gone. Like, no one else can get it. That's it. But
The accounts that have it.
the accounts that have it, have it. If you take a game like that, you develop a game like that,
Flappy Bird.
you take a game like that, makes no sense. Take a game like that, you turn all of the not.
Why are you still looking at us like that? Like you just said some like revolutionary thing.
Exactly what he's explaining. Phones that had Flappy Bird on it because you can't buy it anymore ended up becoming ridiculous amount of priced.
Yeah, but that's a physical object now. I mean,
It's what he's
No.
talking about.
No, you're not selling the account. You're not selling, like, for example, with your thing. You're not selling. Like, you would sell the phone. You're not selling the account. Having these skins on the blockchain to trade from account to account to account to account. I have a skin for whatever. I'll say I have the Armored Titan. You have the Levi skin. You want the Armored Titan. I want the Levi skin. Okay, we can trade. Or I'll sell you mine. You sell me yours. Stuff like that.
So
Fortnite.
special event skins and cosmetic
Exactly.
other stuff that are in a
Exactly.
game that is only for a week at a time. For instance, like within Overwatch, there was that Mercy skin that you can only get at
Yeah,
one point
but-
that you can't get anymore.
But
And that, since it's not account locked, you could now sell it off. Is what
But
he's saying.
the big thing that you need to incorporate, though, is the disconnect so that you do not have to participate in the NFT aspect of the game to play the game. Just like in Warzone, you don't have to spend money to play the game. The game is free. If you want any extra skins or you want any extra characters, you want any extra stuff like that, you have to purchase it.
So we're just talking. You're saying the way that it's going to happen and what your ideal scenario is strictly cosmetic.
That's the only way it has to happen. You cannot have a winning formula for a game where it's pay to win.
It can't be pay to win, but I get what you're saying. Cosmetic is the gateway drug into this.
The big reason,
even like Rocket League. You know, I'm a big Rocket League player as well. You know, on the other side of not playing FPS and stuff, but I play Rocket League a lot, and there's a bunch of different aspects of the game, like different wheels, different colors, different decals, different cars. If all of those are NFTs, then you can trade and you can do this, and they already have trading. Like, that's already a thing.
Yeah.
But you have to either purchase them or you have to win them through the game.
To caveat on some of the points that he's making, the big issue and the reason why gamers are hating it is because of the way we're going with the gaming. You look at old games, right? They came on a CD, and what you got was what you got. There was no DLC. There was nothing added on it. There was stuff that was unlockable for playing the game, but it was already on the disc. Now the whole marketing system went with, hey, it's on the game, but you have to now pay to unlock it. It's already there. It was out, but now you have to pay for it. The content is now locked behind a paywall. And that is what they're worried about with NFTs. It's like, well, what if this new expansion is now an NFT or something like that? You need to buy a token in order to even access that, like buying the expansion, but now it's behind a paywall. And they're afraid that all these new things, like other things that are going to come out.
What's the difference between purchasing the NFT in order to access the game than to actually purchase the game?
See, that's the thing, though. That's not what I'm talking about. Yes, buying a new game or something like that, especially
what if
with
it's limited number of games?
But that's the thing, too.
Yeah,
exactly.
What if they're only selling 50,000 games?
Now, and it's like, hey, there's a lot of things that happen with this. And it's like they pay walls and stuff like that. And it's the way the companies have been going. And that's what gamers are probably more afraid of, too, with these NFTs now, is like they're going to be ruining these games. They're going to split it up in some kind of way that now it's like you can't fully play the game unless you own the NFT portion.
That's the pay to win.
It is a pay to win, or it's a pay to play kind of style.
Okay.
Look at Ubisoft.
Obviously, we can talk about this all day long. You two are avid gamers. I can tell this is something you're very passionate about. But I want to go to a new segment that we're going to be introducing right now. But before we do that, on the backside of this, we are bringing on a founder to an MMORPG. I believe Nick found this game online doing some research.
Yep.
We were all pretty strong on it. It looked really cool. The teaser video, the team behind it. So we sent an email out. We contacted them. And lo and behold, we got him on the episode. So we're going to cut out to this segment right now. Look, you're gamers. There's no secret you both sit down a lot. I like to eat. We could all lose a little weight. So we're going to introduce the OK What's Next Weight Loss Challenge.
Let's get it.
America's best aerobic athlete.
Stepping up first, Nicholas Eccleston. Nick is coming in at a clean 270 pounds. That's a 270. Nicholas Eccleston, 270 pounds.
Stepping up, Shane Salamitri. Shane is weighing in at 216.2. 216.2. Stepping up, Cody Eccleston. Cody Eccleston is weighing in at 212. 212.
Next up on our scale, it is our Norwegian robot, Elias, coming in at 212 pounds. Once again, that is 212 pounds. Built Norwegian strong.
And we are back. Nick, that was
some tight clothes, Shane.
Some tight clothes. I'm excited to get in shape, though. I'm excited for you guys to get in shape, and yeah, it's gonna be a good journey. But we are now here. We're joined with the founder of Uldor, Chris, aka you know him by his online persona, Graslow. Chris, how you doing today? Welcome to Okay, What's Next?
Hey Shane, doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So thanks for joining. Look, we found your project. We reached out. We like what you guys are doing. We think you're onto the right formula for the NFT gaming industry. So, yeah, thanks for joining on, and we're excited to talk to you today. So,
Glad to be here.
Yeah, let's kick things off right away. So, yeah, what caused you to get into the NFT space? How did this all happen? How'd you get your start?
Yeah, so a good friend of mine named Arsenic, he founded a generative NFT project. You may have heard of it, but they were auctioned on Christie's and Sotheby's, some mainstream auction houses, but that was Unigrids. And he's also done another generative project called Beatboxes. So he brought me on to kind of help him with his community, and I was just really amazed. That was kind of my first introduction to the space, but really just amazed at like the sense of community that happens in the NFT space. And working with Arsenic, he brought me on to another project he co-founded called Floaty, and that's where I met Mike Levy. So Floaty is a peer-to-peer lending platform on the Flow ecosystem where you can use NFTs as collateral for a loan. So think like Lending Club or Prosper, but you can use an NFT to get liquidity. So I work with them as a developer and also like community building. And really, like, since I found the NFT space, it's not just a job for me. Like, I've been buying NFTs like crazy. I mint everything. I have hundreds of NFTs on multiple blockchains. So, I'm kind of obsessed with them. But yeah, I'm just excited about the whole space.
Yeah, that's the right type of answer you want to hear when we're talking to a founder, especially because it's like you have to be in the industry to really understand it. And I mean, I don't want to tear anyone apart, but we talk to a lot of founders where they're not really in the space. They're just trying to
collect a pay. You can say it, Shane. Collect a paycheck.
Yeah, make that quick buck. So it's great hearing that as the first answer.
Yeah. So I was kind of curious because like our whole episode's about like gaming and NFTs. So why, like, what was it that made you choose to focus more solely on the gaming side of the NFT space as opposed to just, launching a project and going from there?
Sure. Yeah. And I've been a lifelong gamer. I've worked on game development. It's something I'm very passionate about. And I almost immediately saw the value that NFTs and blockchain bring to gaming. So to me, NFTs are basically like proof of ownership. It's a decentralized proof of ownership and a way for you to own digital assets and to be able to transact those anytime you want. And so it just makes so much sense for this to be a big disruptor for the gaming industry. So to games, it adds value of transparency, where you can see the quantity of how many items exist, what the how much of the currency exists. Whereas today in most games, that's very opaque. Like the company pretty much keeps all that secret. You don't know how much currency exists. It's mostly infinite, where you can buy currency from the company or they just release it constantly in the game. And also the number of items, and how many items exist of a particular, weapon or, car or whatever the asset is. You have no idea what the true value of that is, and you can't realize it if it did have value. So I think that NFTs, once gamers understand them, I think that it's going to be a huge thing for the gaming industry.
That's the exact take that I was pretty much saying to these guys earlier in the episode, because my background is not in gaming. They make fun of me. They say I'm a mobile gamer. I say that my go-to game is Miss Pac-Man on the arcade machine. I don't relate to this space, but I've always felt that it does make so much sense for the gaming community and NFTs to just go together And I think that is going to be a large place where we see the future go. So, Cody, I know you have a question queued up. I just want to ask a quick question before we dive into what Cody has to say. Can you just give us a quick 1 minute logline of what the game is and what the project is?
Sure. Yeah. So Uldor is an MMORPG, and it is set in a medieval style universe. So you can think like World of Warcraft and things like that. But it's built in Unreal Engine 5. UE5 is an amazing engine. It's something that we've been working with since last year, and we're really excited for the quality and scale that we can achieve. But basically, it's a MMORPG with an arena for PvP, so you can get in and play kind of casually. If you just want to jump in for a quick match in the arena, you can play for something 5-10 minutes, or you can get into something that's more persistent and dynamic. The faction battles, where the three factions are fighting over a large amount of territory, and then also you've got the traditional MMO experience, which we want to feel much like some of the AAA RPGs, where like an Elden Ring or other great RPGs where you're going to go off and explore these like vast areas, fight epic beasts, but really just bring in that whole sense of community from MMOs, but tie it to a transparent NFT ecosystem and a fixed supply token.
Yeah. No, I mean, the one thing that I really like about like what you guys are doing, you're using a very well developed program to develop this game. And I mean, you look at other games that came through Unreal Engine 5, Skyrim, that's just one of the big titles that I could come off the top of my head. Skyrim was a big game, and at least I believe, Cody, you just kind of gave me the kind of notice. It's what, Unreal Engine 4?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Skyrim was built on the prior one before it. But like I said, all on Unreal Engine, they keep adding more and more. I think they might. I forget which one they're currently on. I don't know if 5 is the brand newest one, but even if it's the case, old Unreal Engine 5, it just gives so much aspect to what you can do, like with weather and everything else. Yeah. It's gonna be insane.
I played around in Unreal Engine 5 a little bit. I have no experience developing games. I have experience playing a whole bunch of them though. And I played around in Unreal Engine 5, and I mean, just the program itself is just unbelievable, and there's so much you could do.
So I actually do have a question for you. Is why did you choose an MMORPG over any other genre of game?
Well, and I wanted to go back and just mention about Unreal Engine, since we were talking about that. So UE5 actually came out about 2 weeks ago, so that was the official release. It's been in early access since last year, and we've been in the early access program, so we've been working with it since then. But officially, it just came out, so you'll be seeing more games built in it soon. But yeah, that's a great question about why we chose this genre of game. I'm a big fan of MMORPGs. I've played, World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls, Lord of the Rings, all these MMOs. I love the sense of community. I think that, it really mirrors a lot of what you see in the NFT space, where you mint a PFP and you get in their Discord and you get to know people from around the world, and you really connect with people over that asset. And it doesn't really matter their politics, religion, ethnicity, anything like that. And so we see that in MMORPGs and those type of games where, you meet people doing a quest or, battling other players, and you really connect with them in a different kind of way. And so that's something that's always really appealed to me. But also, MMOs offer a lot of different experiences, whether, it's going off questing and doing like RPG style exploration of vast lands. But also you've got the like the high-paced PvP, where you can jump in the arena and or fight other players in a really like action-packed kind of way. And so that's always really been appealing to me, and it's something I've always wanted to build. And since UE5 was announced, they really promoted the scalability of the large open worlds, the graphic fidelity that you can use, and so that's something we immediately started researching and got early access to UE5 and started playing around and experimenting. And so this is a project that really it has a long history, like something that we've been wanting to do for years, but it really just came together perfectly.
I mean, that sounds amazing. So I want to talk about the NFT a little bit. Obviously, we have the NFTs showcased on our wall back here. This one, front and center, is actually my personal NFT. We got Cody's up there next. Like we said, we're all big fans of the project, so we all had to dive in as well. But I mean, the art is sick. Everything is being done right here. So I want to ask you, what is the actual connection with the NFT in the game?
Yeah, so I was going to say I love your wall art, but the NFTs are our Genesis sale, and they are Guardian characters. So they'll be playable characters in the game, and the Guardians have a special role in our lore, and also in the game they'll have special utility. Ultimately, the MMO will be free to play, so anyone can create their own character and play the game, but they'll never have a Guardian character. Those are special. And it's something that we wanted it to feel more than just like a PFP. So we hired a comic book illustrator, and each Guardian is on a comic style cover with a background featuring one of the bosses from the game. And also, they all feature a unique character name. So each one of the Guardians has their own name on the top in gold there. And we thought that was kind of a fun thing to, because you have different traits. So you may get one with like a gold sword or a flaming sword, but then you have this name that could be like really cool. So we thought that it'd be interesting to see if people value the name over the different traits. But then we also have some other NFTs, and we thought that because a Genesis sale is so important, we wanted to give our Guardian mentors the chance to get all of our future NFTs for free. So if you mint and hold a Guardian, you'll get our next NFT, the Furies, which are our only other hero class character. They'll be a free mint. So you'll get those as a free mint. And then probably more exciting is the next NFT, which are our resource plots. So that's basically land where all of our resources in the game come from. So if you've ever played like an MMORPG, you know that there's harvesting of like trees or iron ore and different kind of materials that you'll use for crafting, for professions. All of those come from our resource plot NFTs. And these we'll be giving these for free for minting and holding a Guardian and a Fury. And then if we have any left, we'll sell those. But our intention is to give those to our mentors as a reward for believing in us early.
That sounds actually amazing. I'm a big player of MMORPGs. Like I play Final Fantasy 14, and all I do is craft and gather. So like just the plots alone, like that sounds fun to me at least.
Yeah. No, Chris, we can definitely see that you're very like passionate about, the gaming aspect and like games in general. And, I see a lot of work being put into this project, not only on the gaming side, but also on like the development of the actual project itself as a whole. And we're just, I'm kind of curious like what the motivation is behind, the whole project and how you kind of got to where you are now.
Yeah, so this is a passion project for me. It's something that, I mentioned earlier, like we wanted to build this for years. And we actually registered the domain uldor.com more than 10 years ago. This is something that, as we've worked on other gaming projects, both on the development side, but also, as players, me and my co-founder, we have always thought, like what our game would be, what would be different, the mechanics of different games that work really well, and sometimes those get forgotten. And then also the things that, like unique ideas that we've had, or we see a game kind of do things in a way that we wouldn't do. You have this corporate culture in gaming, and small indie games that are successful get bought, and so you have this corporate culture that kind of like infects the gaming industry. And I think that it really has two problems. On the one hand, you've got decisions that are made at the top that kind of filter down without getting good feedback, and there's not a good chance to kind of like push back if there's problems. And then you have like the opposite problem where the game's in trouble, and they know that they need to fix something, and then they kind of put too much weight on what players are saying, the feedback. And so sometimes the loudest players, are the ones that get heard, and so that causes the game to kind of lose its focus, and its core kind of shifts. and so that kind of hurts the game too. So it's really like two opposite problems. But we think that having the pulse of the gaming community, and also because being gamers, being experienced, but also being kind of fixed on your vision. And I think that is a key to success.
Absolutely. Sounds really good. It's a great aspect to take. I mean, you could look at like Activision, how Activision was doing Warzone. Like the game, all the people that play the game are saying stuff. Content creators are tweeting at them, and they just didn't care. They were just like, what we say goes. So
Yeah, there's two sides of the coin on that one. Like you said, Activision, you have the developers that don't listen to their player base, and then you have like say Overwatch and Blizzard, where they do listen to some of their player base, but usually they still do their own thing, but they have an open ear. Final Fantasy, that MMO, they listen to their player base, they have their own ideas, and they'll bring in and they update what they want to hear from them and be like, hey, we hear you, but that's not a good idea. And they let us know. Like, there's always developer updates, and, good communication between the developers and the gamers, I feel, is necessary for games to really survive. So you definitely sound like you definitely had this idea. Now, you did say you had this idea for 10 years. So this brings around the other question I wanted to ask was, when did the development for the game actually start? I don't know if you actually said when.
So we've been building like game mechanics and the lore for years, not knowing, for sure, like when or if this would happen. It's really just like a passion project. But really last year is when this changed for us. And it changed for two reasons. One is, I see the NFT space as being disruptive to gaming. Like I think that it's certainly interesting to see some of the larger companies like Activision, Blizzard, EA kind of toying with the idea of NFTs, but I don't think that they're going to take a big shift that could affect their bottom line, especially when gamers are not sold on NFTs yet. So I think that we're on the verge of a big disruption, just like we saw with the .com disruption that you took out the largest retailer in the world, Sears, and replaced it with Amazon, which was just a little startup. And then, of course, we saw the same thing with streaming, where we knocked out, Blockbuster and other movie companies and replaced them with Netflix. So I think that we're going to see some of that with gaming. I'm not saying that some of these companies are going to go bankrupt, but they'll have to adapt, and that's painful for a lot of businesses to do. But yeah, to your question about development, last year with NFTs, we saw that as a great opportunity, and then also UE5 was announced. And when UE5 was first announced, and they talked about the new improvements to open worlds, when they talked about, and I could talk about these two technologies for hours, but Nanite and Lumen are two just amazing technologies in their own right. But when they talked about those on their development videos, other developers were saying this is impossible, like they're lying, this is not real. But then they released the early access, and developers started to actually be able to use the engine, and they were blown away with what you can do. And I think that projects and games that are being built in UE4, because UE5 was just released, and so a lot of games are not able to just easily upgrade. There's so many changes that they're just moving ahead with UE4. And then, of course, Unity, which now is behind, and I'm sure they're going to catch up eventually, but I feel like the projects and games that are being built in UE5 today already have a huge head start. And if you're in the NFT space and you're building with a crypto-based, blockchain economy, I think that is going to give you a big leg up on, the competition for the next, 2 to 5 years.
Yeah, I have to completely agree. When you brought up the two technologies, I sort of was laughing a bit because I was there when they first unveiled it. Like 100%, I was watching it. I thought it was ridiculous as well. And then it's like you see that the stuff that they could do with the whole program itself is just absolutely mind-boggling. And I mean, it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here watching Cody and seeing his reactions, because, I mean, he's a huge gamer. He loves MMORPGs. And the things that you're saying, his smile is getting bigger and bigger. So you're definitely hitting the mark. you're hitting it right on the head. So a lot of the things we talk about is, and you mentioned it earlier, how much like gamers hate NFTs. Like they're despised by gamers worldwide. So what are you doing in order to get those gamers into your game?
Yeah, so that's a great question because our strategic plan is all about onboarding mainstream gamers. That's what we think about every day. So we have a lot of plans for specifically how to do that. I'll just tell you my thoughts on why we're in this situation. I think that uh, there's a lot of skepticism of just the NFT market. You know, people see like a picture of an ape selling for millions of dollars, and they think that this is crazy or unsustainable, and they don't understand all the different layers to that. When you see a large sale, there are a lot of layers to what those NFTs represent. If there is utility. I mean, obviously there's a lot of craziness in the NFT space, and that's the what you're going to see with anything this early. And when you have people speculating purely on value. But also, I think that crypto and NFTs are still, kind of technical. There's a lot of friction where you have to learn, how to use a wallet. You have to buy crypto, and there's a lot of steps with that. And I think that a lot of gamers, it's just easier to say that's not for me. To not think that NFTs are adding value to games. But when I talk to mainstream gamers that I know, what I tell them is, just imagine two games, two identical games like, World of Warcraft. But one version of it, is just like today. And the other version has a transparent economy where you can see the number of items that are for sale, the number that exist, the history of those sales. The amount of gold in the game is a fixed supply. And you can have that trust and faith in the economy that that the company can't just flood the market with a new item, that currency isn't just infinite. You take like mobile games where you can purchase their in-game currency with fiat. You can take out your credit card and buy in-game currency. Well, you're effectively devaluing everyone else who's ever done that because you're adding new currency to the game. And so that's something that I think that gamers will understand that. What our plan is to make a great game with great gameplay that doesn't overemphasize the financial aspects. I think that a lot of games are making the mistake of they see that mentors are people in the NFT space that largely aren't playing games every day, and they're looking for return on investment. And so when you market a game as just a way to invest and make a return, you're not going to bring those mainstream gamers on. So we're looking down the long term. We're looking at bringing those gamers on, and part of the way we're going to do that is we are going to reward investors with uh, the utility of the NFTs in the game, and also a staking ability where they can earn from that utility. But ultimately, that's a utility that the players are going to be able to use. So it's not just staking that where a token comes out of thin air and you get it. It's players are giving that token to investors in exchange for that utility. We talked about the resource plot. So like, you can stake your resource plot, and players who want to harvest resources can pay to harvest from your plot, or if they own their own resource plot, they can harvest from their own plot for free. So that's something that I think will appeal to gamers once they understand that. And also, I think lowering the friction is going to play a big part in that onboarding process. Being free to play and letting someone be able to go and log into the game right away without buying crypto is going to be a big deal. And also, I think that not having a wallet requirement. So I'm a big fan of like how NBA Top Shot did onboarding. You can talk about other things that they've done, but they brought millions of users to the NFT space because you didn't need a wallet to be able to log into their website. You could use a credit card to buy your first pack of NFTs, and you can just keep them on their website. And now if you want to move into your wallet, you can. We're going to have that option from the start. Gamers who come to us with a crypto wallet will be able to keep all of their assets in their own wallet. But if you don't have a wallet, you don't want to, learn all these technical steps to just try the game out and see if you like it at all. We want to have that low friction option for them to get in and try the game.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Literally, I mean, everything that you were saying is like what needs to happen.
You're
Like,
hitting, yeah, you're literally hitting everything spot on.
it's crazy.
And that was one of the questions I asked these guys before. I was like, what needs to happen for the NFT gaming industry to be successful? And they didn't really have many answers, but you're answering everything right now, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, no, it is. But to talk more about the game itself, so obviously MMORPGs, they all have lore, they all have a storyline kind of that you follow to get, from one place to another. Is the lore of the game never ending? Like, is there side quests that will continue to go after you finish the main storyline, or is it just a main storyline that's going to keep building? How exactly is that going to pan out?
Yeah, so we have years of lore. This is something that we've been working on for a while, because that's the part that we could do before we started developing, is really just write out all the content. But I will say that one thing I don't like about other games is when players feel like that their choices don't matter. When you're playing the game and you feel like you're just a pawn in a larger story and it's already been written. So that's something that we really want players to have more dynamic influence on the world. Like in our faction battles, we've got a really large area where players can fight over territory. And so if you take a certain amount of territory, you can build up fortifications. Once you've built up enough, and it's a secure area, your guards are kind of patrolling the area. Well, NPCs, so non-player characters, might feel safe to come in and build houses and shops, and you'll see new quests open up. So the world will be changing based on players. And we have some other big plans for that. I don't want to reveal too much yet, but I will say that when we're adding content, we're really thinking about players being able to experience that and it be replayable and not something that is because you run yourself into a trap too. Like if you have just a guided story from A to B, and the players are just like going on this quest line that you wrote. The trap is that when the player finishes that, there's nothing else to do, and they're waiting on you for new content. But we want the game to be more dynamic, and we really emphasize those experiences where with whether it be the PvP or the dungeons, to where players can have fun coming back and playing it over and over again.
Yeah, no, that sounds really great. I played a lot of games where it's like I spend $60 to play the game, and then I play the game, I beat it in a day, and like that's it. There's no extra nothing. Like that $60 is now just gone. And it's great to hear that you're gonna basically continue building and building and building and building. And the one cool aspect that something a little different that I haven't seen is the dynamic aspect of the game, where it's like if you fortify this area and it all looks good, like people like NPCs will come in and like open shops and like in your little town and stuff like that. Like that's pretty cool.
So from Nick's whole question, you could definitely tell he's never played an MMO. But
I'm not a big. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a big FPS kind of. I play FPS games, Rocket League, and GTA. Like that is it. Like,
but from your response to that question, though, it definitely sounds very, very interesting. Like I'm hyped to I definitely want to play it. With the whole dynamic thing, Nick, just to answer, if you ever played Fable did the same an idea Fable. Where at the end of the game you had a choice. And if you went I want all the money, kill half the population, well, now all the NPCs, they're half of them. So, like, a lot of this stuff changed in that kind of sense. And games like that don't come, like, not enough games do that. And the fact that you're definitely considering doing this with your MMO, like, that sounds amazing, because that right there is a player-run environment. And that right there is really going to sell the game even more, because that, like I said, not enough games use it. I'm hyped to see how well that's going to interact.
Yeah.
So, Chris, do you guys have any type of time frame for release or anything like that on the calendar, or just
maybe an alpha access release?
Yeah, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, so we're working towards a fourth quarter release. We're developing in UE5. We're making progress every day. In fact, we take our Discord community behind the scenes every Thursday. We share some UE5 development, show them kind of some technical accomplishments that we've made. But we are doing our development in phases. So what we're because I think with an MMO being so content heavy, with an MMO you have like cities and quests and all these different lands, and it's just a lot of content to write and develop. So we're breaking the development up into phases where we're working on that aspect and, of course, the factions. But first, we're going to release our arena mode. So it's just PvP. And I think this is actually a really smart thing to do for this type of game because we can appeal to casual gamers from day one. So when we release our PvP mode, which will be our arena, you'll be able to jump in, play a quick game, 5 or 10 minutes, and then if you want to keep playing, you can. There'll be a ladder style tournaments. So if you wanted to pay an entry fee to play in a tournament, you could play over like a Saturday and maybe be in like a guild or have a clan to where you get in together and you guys are strategizing and working together. And so that'll be a really fun experience, but it'll also really help us with onboarding. It's part of our strategic plan. Because we want, when you go to Twitch or YouTube streaming and you look at top games that players are playing, we want you to see competitive players playing Uldor and earning crypto, because I think that's really going to make a lot of people interested in what we're building. But our arena mode, we are hoping to have that out we're aiming for Q3. It is possible by the end of Q2 we'll have like a beta access. So maybe alpha before that, but we're working hard on it. We're making good progress, but yeah, stay tuned.
All right.
Yeah, very excited.
You said weekend clans and strategizing. My immediate thought was that South Park episode of World of Warcraft, but
yeah, this is. I mean, Chris, like, you guys are really onto something, and I mean, it sounds like with your knowledge, the full team that you have put together, I mean, I think I could pretty confidently say we're going to see big things happening with Uldor.
Well, I appreciate that. And my plan is really, like, I would love for this game to be the thing I do with my life for the next 10 to 20 years. Like, I'm very passionate about this project. So I just want it to be something that, ideally millions of players enjoy. And it's a way for us to onboard players to the blockchain space. I think that mainstream gamers are going to come here in droves, and I want to be a big part of that.
Yeah, that is spot on. When it's a passion project, like I said earlier, it's not about making a quick buck. You're in it for the long haul. You've been working on this for 10 years. I mean, that's what the people want to see, and that's one of the many keys to making a successful project, game, whatever the media is. It's really great. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our time. Chris, it was great speaking with you. Thank you for coming on. Okay, what's next? As we get closer to release, we would love to have you on again. Talk about this more. Maybe have you on D3 Gaming and we go through gameplay a little bit. But yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hi, hey, boys. Good interview.
Another good interview under the belt.
Wow. That is everything that I want to hear a founder say once again.
it's very exciting. Look, when I found the project, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Reading the project itself and like the website and all that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But speaking to the founder and really understanding like the mindset behind the game and the project as a whole, mind blowing.
Yeah, you can tell just like you get that judge of character from someone when, like I say all the time, like the quick buck thing. That's such a big factor in this entire space, and it's just like our interview with the Holy Black. They've been working on it for years. He's been working on this as a passion project for, what did they say, 10 years?
10 years.
So, like, when you have a situation like that, it marks off all my checkboxes.
No, absolutely. Like you said, it was a passion project for him where he is more dedicated to the game than the NFT. And that's what we were looking for is the project individuals that make, oh my God, I can't even speak. The people that are making the projects, they're more focused on the gameplay and all that than the NFT. But I mean, he's still thinking in the logical sense of how can we incorporate the NFTs and not be intrusive, he's perfectly in the right mindset of how you need to incorporate NFTs into games. And I cannot wait to get my hands on this and play it because I'm excited for everything he was talking about.
Honestly, I don't even really know what an MMORPG is, but I kind of put it together during that. I mean, I didn't know what it was until we obviously started talking to him, and you guys filled me in.
Now you have one.
I know. Now I have one. I mean,
you will be playing it.
There's no doubt I'm going to play it.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely playing this.
I mean, I want to play it on the stream as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited, guys. It's and like we don't talk to just any founder. For all you viewers out there, like if we have them on the actual podcast and they're in the episode, it's like we talk to people that we believe in their project and they're legitimate experts that we do want to hear from. We're not gonna just have like Joe Smo on the show. And unless we're doing a thing where we like want to talk to a founder and like ask them the hard-hitting questions, but when it's something like that where it's a true expert, and that's just us reaching out because it's a project that we found and we like. But
yeah, I mean, if you look at it, kind of backtracking episode 1, like vetting a project,
It's
something
all
like
vetting.
that. Something like that. Like you look at it, he has the experience in game development.
yeah,
He has experience in
his
game
whole team
development.
does. That's their background. That's their job.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. This isn't just some random guy that's like, hey, I want to make an NFT game. Like, he's been in the industry. His whole team's been in the industry.
Yep.
That's one thing to look at when you're vetting a project.
Who are you pointing to?
The audio.
All right, guys, that wraps up the time for today. Another good episode. I know you guys love talking about video games. I would say let's get a victory meal, but hey, it's weight loss time.
I'm still going to pig out.
Are
we're
you?
gonna get McDonald's
Cody's
the
going to
fifth day
be
in a
the
row.
first person to do a weight loss challenge and gain 5 pounds.
5 pounds.
I don't want any of you guys to lose. I don't want any of you guys to gain weight.
So no, I mean, I'm pretty sure we did the weigh-ins, so we know what we weigh.
We have our weights.
Oh yeah, we have our weigh-ins.
The audience sees what we weighed. I mean,
Shane, me and you, we're close.
I will say, we are close. I was very surprised in how close in weight we were. I'm also taller than you, and
Not by much. Come on now.
Come on now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, Shane, how tall are you?
I'm like 5'11".
Cody?
Bullshit. He's 5'11". He's 5'10".
Okay,
I'm
5'10". I'm like 5'10 and a half.
All right. Well, I'm 5'8".
What guy doesn't round up? So you're really like 5'7". Anyway. No, I have a heavy build. I think, I mean, you wouldn't guess that I'm like 216 or whatever I weighed in at. Like I have a heavier build, but
Yeah.
I could definitely lose weight. There's no doubt about
No,
it.
all of us definitely can, and
I mean,
we
in
plan
that
to.
in that spandex, you go.
The spandex was not a pretty sight.
I don't know.
Put
I
anyone
mean,
in that, they'll
look,
look
can
fat.
we just take it into consideration? All right, 4 years ago, when I got out of college.
Oh my God! The first time Nick stepped on that scale before
Oh
we filmed,
The amount of shock.
we had the scale
his
in the
face.
office, and he just stepped on it. Let me do an impersonation of what Nick did. He stepped on, and he was like, "Oh my God!"
It was definitely
okay.
shock. I'm not gonna lie, it shocked me just hearing it. Like, damn.
It is crazy. And, just a quick backstory. I played football in college. I was in the best shape of my life. Got hurt, lost my scholarship, and then I had to drop out and pretty much haven't been active since. But, roughly about 4 years ago when I got out of college, I was 187 pounds. Okay, 187 pounds, best shape of my life. I weighed in, you guys saw it, 270.
100 pounds later.
That is 80 pounds. 80 pounds.
90.
83.
83. Didn't you say you weighed
100
270? You
180.
weighed 180?
187.
Oh, I thought you said 180. I thought you said
180.
He said 180. He didn't say the
All right,
size.
we're rambling, guys. We're
But
rambling.
that's 80 pounds that I gained, and in all honesty, 40 of it was during, COVID. But
Yeah.
that's
I mean, who hasn't got
Besides the point.
weight on with COVID? So this is the post-COVID weight loss challenge.
It's just a weight loss challenge.
I know.
because It doesn't matter. Guys, we're rambling about this just because I love it. Let's roll the intro for the weight loss challenge one more time.
one more time, one more time, one more time.
Fucking
Roll
hate
it.
it.
America's best aerobic athlete.
Guys, that's the episode. Thank you for tuning in once again. Remember, subscribe to our channel, follow our socials, check out our website, dynamic3.io. We're building projects, we're working with brands, we're doing a big thing. You see it up there. We're trying to get dynamic. Cody, sign us out.
I don't know what to say
I don't
here.
know. Look at the camera. Say.
Okay, what's next?
What's next? What's next? What's next?
If you enjoyed the content in this episode, make sure to check out our entire channel. Check out our socials. Check out our streams. We're talking about good stuff all day. Follow, like, subscribe. We'll talk to you guys next time.